The Brown family's once celebrated polygamous union had unraveled over the years, revealing deep-seated fractures and betrayals. Janelle, Meri, and Christine, the three former wives of Kody Brown, had long harbored suspicions and grievances that had been simmering beneath the surface. Their shared experiences and observations had led them to a painful conclusion. Kody and his fourth wife, Robyn, had manipulated and deceived them in ways that were both subtle and overt. Christine, the first to voice her discontent, recalled moments where Robyn would claim to speak Kody, positioning herself as the mediator between him and the other wives. She convinced all of us that she needed to be there in the relationship, that she can speak Kody and we can't, Christine revealed during a candid conversation with Janelle. This assertion not only undermined the other wives' understanding of their shared husband, but also sowed seeds of division within the family. Janelle, ever the pragmatic one, had initially dismissed Robyn's claims. However, over time, she observed a pattern of favoritism and exclusion. She said, "Why don't you have a conversation with your dad?" "I'll be there because, I speak Kody," Janelle recounted, expressing her frustration that Robyn had inserted herself into personal conversations with her children. "It's our dad. We don't really need you to speak Kody," her children had retorted, highlighting the growing resentment towards Robyn's interference. Meri, who had been the most accepting of Robyn and her children, found herself increasingly isolated. She had once trusted Kody's assurances that he was spending equal time with all his wives. However, she soon realized that this was far from the truth. "I literally started keeping track, not of where he was, but when he was with me, and I was less than a third," Meri confessed, revealing the extent of her emotional neglect. The emotional betrayals were compounded by financial ones. Janelle had invested significant amounts of money into the family's ventures, including the purchase of the Coyote Pass property. Yet when it came time to build a home for herself, Kody and Robyn's priorities shifted. They opted for a lavish $2.1 million mansion in Flagstaff, Arizona, leaving Janelle to fend for herself. Kody and Robyn maintained a lavish lifestyle while Janelle struggled for housing for her and Kody's children, noted a source familiar with the situation. This financial disparity was not lost on Janelle. She had been a dedicated partner, contributing to the family's growth and stability. Yet when she needed support, she found herself abandoned. In 2023, after much deliberation, Janelle sought legal counsel to ensure she was fairly compensated for her contributions to the Coyote Pass property. The legal proceedings were a testament to her determination to reclaim what was rightfully hers. The culmination of emotional and financial betrayals led to a breaking point for Janelle. She had long been the glue holding the family together, but the constant undermining and neglect became unbearable. "I think I speak Kody," she asserted, reclaiming her voice and agency. Her decision to distance herself from Kody and Robyn was not just a personal choice, but a statement to the world that she would no longer tolerate the manipulation and deceit. Christine, too, had reached her limit. She had once believed in the ideals of polygamy and the strength of their family bond. However, the constant favoritism towards Robyn and the emotional neglect she experienced led her to question everything. "I felt like I was being made to feel like I didn't belong," she admitted, reflecting on her feelings of isolation and rejection within the family. Meri, despite her earlier trust in Kody and Robyn, began to see the cracks in their facade. She had been the most accepting of Robyn, but even she could no longer ignore the signs of manipulation and deceit. "Meri is so naive thinking Kody and Robyn will not screw her and Christine over," remarked a viewer, capturing the sentiment of many who had watched the family's dynamics unfold. In a series of candid interviews, Janelle, Meri, and Kristen came together to share their experiences and expose the truth about Kody and Robyn's betrayals. They spoke openly about the manipulation, favoritism, and deceit that had characterized their relationships. Their stories resonated with many who had followed the Brown family's journey, shedding light on the darker aspects of their polygamous lifestyle. Christine's revelation that she had felt like the basement wife and had never been made to feel like a queen wife or queen mom struck a chord with viewers. Her candidness about her feelings of neglect and isolation highlighted the emotional toll of being in a relationship where favoritism and manipulation were prevalent. Janelle's account of being financially sidelined while Kody and Robyn indulged in luxury underscored the disparity in their relationships. Her decision to take legal action to reclaim her contributions was a powerful statement of her resolve and determination. Meri's acknowledgement of her own naivety in trusting Kody and Robyn served as a cautionary tale for others. Her journey from acceptance to realization mirrored the experiences of many who had been deceived by those they loved and trusted. The revelations and subsequent actions taken by Janelle, Meri, and Christine marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. They had exposed the truth, reclaimed their voices, and taken steps to heal from the betrayals they had endured. Their story served as a testament to the strength and resilience of women who, despite being manipulated and deceived, found the courage to stand up for themselves and seek a better future. As they moved forward, they found solace in their shared experiences and the support of each other. They had been through the trials of polygamy, faced the challenges of favoritism and deceit, and emerged stronger for it. Their journey was one of empowerment, healing, and the unwavering belief that they deserved better. The Brown family saga is a complex tale of love, betrayal, and resilience. Janelle, Meri, and Christine's decision to expose Kody and Robyn's shocking betrayals was not just an act of defiance, but a declaration of their worth and dignity. In a world that often silences the voices of women, their courage to speak out serves as an inspiration to all who have been wronged and manipulated. Their story is a reminder that no matter the circumstances, one can always find the strength to reclaim their narrative and forge a path toward healing and empowerment. Behind the glossy reality TV facade, the truth had always been more complicated. For over a decade, viewers had watched sister wives through a filtered lens, one that presented the Brown family as an ambitious, plural unit seeking religious freedom and familial harmony. But the cameras couldn't capture the long, tearful nights, the whispered doubts, or the icy silences that had grown between them when the spotlight was turned off. Christine had begun noticing the shift first. Long before she left in 2021, she remembered moments when Kody would arrive at her house with a coldness in his eyes, like he'd rather be anywhere else. "He stopped looking at me like I mattered," she confessed in a private interview. "I stopped being his wife and became a burden he had to manage." For Meri, the loneliness had begun years earlier when her emotional affair came to light. Though she had apologized, begged for understanding, and tried to mend the marriage, Kody had never forgiven her. He said he couldn't be intimate with someone he didn't respect, she revealed, tears in her eyes. Yet she had remained, hoping one day he'd see her again. He never did. And Janelle, she had always been the steady one, the peacemaker, the provider. She had worked tirelessly to support their large family, trusting that her contributions would be honored. But as Robyn gained more control, financially, emotionally, and logistically, Janelle saw the writing on the wall. "I gave everything I had to that man," she said. "And when I needed him, he gave me nothing." Robyn's role. Robyn had come into the family in 2010, and while she was initially embraced, the tide shifted quickly. Unlike the other wives, she was gifted a legal marriage with Kody in 2014, supposedly to make it easier to adopt her children from a previous relationship. But with that signature, everything changed. Robyn became the legal wife, the center of Kody's world, and the unofficial gatekeeper. Meri had surrendered her legal status to facilitate Robyn's marriage, a gesture she now regretted. She said it was just paperwork, Meri remembered bitterly. But that paper meant everything. Over time, Robyn's influence over Kody became impossible to ignore. She controlled their finances, helped make major family decisions, and even managed the family's narrative on the show. It's not just that she speaks Kody, Christine said once, it's that she controls him. Fans of the show began noticing it too. Social media lit up with commentary about how Kody always seemed to spend holidays, important events, and regular days at Robyn's house. The other wives were often left alone, creating a dynamic that looked less like a plural marriage and more like monogamy with collateral damage. Standing together. After years of subtle digs and suppressed anger, it was Christine who finally cracked the silence. Her public decision to leave Kody in 2021 wasn't just a breakup, it was a rebellion. For the first time in years, one of the Brown wives stood up and said, "Enough." Her decision emboldened the others. Janelle, who had always considered herself independent, finally admitted that her marriage was no longer serving her. By the end of 2022, she too had separated from Kody. "I don't regret my time with him," she said, "but I regret not valuing myself sooner." Meri's departure came in early 2023. Though hers was less fiery, it was no less significant. She simply stopped waiting for Kody to come back. "He moved on a long time ago," she said. "Now it's my turn." The three women began to rebuild, not just their individual lives, but their connection with each other. Where once there had been competition, now there was camaraderie. Where once there was mistrust, now there was mutual healing. "We were all trying to survive in a system that was rigged against us," Christine admitted. "But now we're thriving outside of it." Life after Kody. Free from the weight of Kody's neglect and Robyn's manipulation, each woman began charting a new course. Christine found love again, someone who respected her, laughed with her, and saw her as a partner. She moved back to Utah, closer to her older children, and began hosting cooking segments online, finally pursuing a passion she'd long kept on the back burner. Janelle leaned into her entrepreneurial spirit, launching a wellness brand and becoming a motivational figure to women around the world. Her Instagram was filled with inspirational posts, stories of triumph, and pictures of hikes in the Arizona wilderness with her kids. Meri purchased a charming bed and breakfast in Utah and transformed it into not just a business, but a sanctuary, a place of healing, storytelling, and self-discovery. She began offering retreats and workshops for women rebuilding after betrayal. They weren't just surviving, they were shining. The legacy they left behind. Kody and Robyn remained together, but at a cost. Public opinion had shifted dramatically. Viewers who once admired Kody's charisma now saw through the cracks, calling out the favoritism, the dismissiveness, the hypocrisy. He turned his back on the women who built his empire, one fan wrote online. And now he's stuck with the mess he made. For Robyn, the dream of a united plural family was dead. She had become Kody's one and only, but at the expense of her sisterhood. "This isn't what I wanted," she had whispered in a recent episode, tears streaking her face. But the damage was done. Meanwhile, Janelle, Christine, and Meri had become icons of resilience. They began appearing on podcasts, talk shows, and women's panels, sharing their stories and encouraging others to speak out against control and manipulation. Their message was clear: love should never cost you your self-worth. The story of the sister wives was once framed around one man and his vision. But now it's about the women who dared to walk away from the shadow and into the light. Their courage to leave, to speak out, and to rebuild their lives has inspired thousands. No longer defined by polygamy, betrayal, or neglect, Janelle, Meri, and Christine are now defined by strength, independence, and the unbreakable bond they formed after the storm. In the end, the real love story wasn't about Kody at all. It was about three women who chose each other, chose freedom, and finally chose themselves.